Hey guys, my name is Dennis, and today I am going to try to experiment growing hydroponic tomatoes. So here's the setup. Here I've got a pump. It's going to be used to pump air into these stones. These stones are going to go into these buckets. These buckets which I've cut a hole in. So it'll go like that inside. Okay, and when the pump is on, you'll see bubbles, and we'll show that later. So I've got 2 tomatoes that I bought today at the Home Depot. I've got a T4 light. I've got another light that I probably will not be using. So the only thing that it'll need is light and some air going into the bucket. What I'll do is I'm going to put the tomato plants in, and I'm going to fill. I'll have rocks surrounding it, and the roots will eventually start hanging in through the holes on these. Now, the Home Depot, the buckets you can buy for about, I think it's about $2 or so at the Home Depot. The pump is about, I'm going to say about $40, and these you can buy online. I think they come out to about $2 or $3 a piece. The light itself was about $80, and the tent was about $130. It's a 4x4x6. Now, I don't know if it's going to work, so this may not even make it into YouTube, but if it does, you shall see the results. And I will also show you what the tomatoes that I bought on the same day and I planted outside, what they look like, so you'll get an idea of how they compare. Now keep in mind that outside the sun's going to keep rotating, and so it'll wind up getting light all around the tomato plant, whereas this is just going to be directly on top. Thus the reason for the tent, which you will see will reflect a lot of the light and hopefully get some of the other sides of the tomato. So I'll be back. Okay, so since my pump's got 4 ports, I'm actually going to put 2 of those stones with the air in there. You can see how it bubbles up. And here's the second. See how it bubbles up? So what you didn't see was I took the plants that I actually had gotten from Home Depot and washed off the dirt. Now ideally you get all of the dirt off just in case there are bugs, so you can see the roots. So basically, here's the tomato plants. These are Roma. Here's the other one, and then here's the stone that you're going to want to put in. Now, you can put in stone. There's a number of different medium that you can put in. So these are clay rocks. This is going to be the growing medium, right? So what we're going to do is you'll notice that these actually, you'll notice that these rocks will float. Okay, they're very light. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this plant in. You can see the roots, pretty small right now. I'm going to fill it up with the rocks. Okay, and then you see how it bubbles in. It will get moisture. These roots will start to grow through, and then over time what I'll do is I'll show you when I lift this out and I change this, you're going to see that the roots will start growing down. Hopefully, if it works correctly. Okay, so here's what the plants look like once I've got the rocks in. Now, if you started the seeds in another medium like rock wool or so coconut husk, you'll want to make sure that you'll still wind up needing some rocks to hold it in place. A plant like this, a tomato plant, you're going to want to use a bigger net, okay, in order to be able to hold it, because it will get to be a big plant. These happen to be plum tomatoes. The plan is I'll see how these compare to the tomatoes that I grow outside naturally, and I will also be trying to put whatever extra tomatoes I have into jars and be able to store them for the winter time. Okay, so the fertilizer I'm going to be using is General Hydroponics, and it's what you'll see is it's a nitrogen mix, and this is what the plants need to develop their roots at the beginning. Once it starts to flower, you're going to want to use more phosphorus, and then there's more of a blooming type fertilizer that you'll be using. So here we are. I've actually lowered the light to about 1.5 feet above these plants, and using the light meter you can see that I'm somewhere about 12,000 lux. Alright, so if you go outside, it's probably, if you're talking about the sun, it's going to be a little bit higher. So you're going to want to make sure you keep your lights on for about 18 hours a day. You think about that's what the sun, you're not going to get as much as light from these lights as you would from the sun, but you will be leaving them on a little bit longer. You're going to give this plant about 18 hours of daylight, or basically electric light, and we'll see how it grows. Okay, so here's what the plants look like after their first night, and I will be continuing to update this every week, and you'll get an idea. And the one thing that you might want to know is you'll see there's a quart container over there in the on the right side. You may want, until the roots actually reach the water, you may want to take some water and just pour it over the rocks, so that way it touches the roots, it gives it a little bit of food. And then once you start seeing the roots are getting wet from the water, there's no need to do that any further.